Hello colleagues, thanks for joining me again. This video is about Pathway 2. Thank you for your interest in ZEN, the ZTC enrollment program here at Ventura College. My name is Nick Norris. I'm one of the co-leads. I'm one of the ZENtors. I'm a business instructor at Ventura College. And I already recorded one video about Pathway 1, which is original content creation. This video is all about Pathway 2, which is open educational resources, or OER, which is different than creating your own original content, because if you're not creating the content, you're essentially curating other free content, zero textbook cost content, or open educational resources. And I have a couple of very different classes that I've adopted into this pathway. And I'd like to show you around with both of them. Which one is this? I'm going to start here at V30, Business V30. This is Intro to Business. The entire business department, I believe, have adopted the OpenStax textbook called Intro to Business, Introduction to Business. So everything else looks very similar, same course module. One thing that you can see here is if you go into my syllabus, this is before I converted it to the liquid syllabus as a result of CCAR, so don't judge. But if you can scroll down here, you see in the instructional materials, I say the textbook for this class is free and online. I link to it here. I give them a link that they can click that'll open it up, a new tab on their browser, taking them to the textbook. They can download the PDF, or they can purchase a printed copy from the Ventura College bookstore if they so choose. So that's one of the ways that I show students right off the bat how to get access to this textbook. If you scroll down, I'm not even going to worry yet about week 1 because I have a rant here and a couple of introduction to disruption and Netflix and innovation and fun things that the students like to do. I'm going to scroll down to week 2. This is where I really dive in. So take a look here. In week 2, we actually cover 2 chapters, chapter 7 and chapter 8 in the Intro to Business textbook. So if I click here on chapter 7, Designing Organizational Structures, brief intro of what this is, I give the link. When they click on this link, it takes them directly to chapter 7 in the textbook chapter that they need for that lesson. So the link itself takes them directly to the chapter that they read. On the next page, yes, one of the things that you or me, the faculty that's making this conversion, had to do is create our own original slides. So I don't believe this did not come with slide decks, so I had to create my own slides, which I would normally deliver in person. For this online class, I've done a screencast lecture. It's 8.5 minutes. These slides are based on the chapter 7 of the reading, so I include that as a resource, and then I also include these notes. The DE folks are going to kill me because I have yet to convert this yet to a page. It's still a PDF. I promise I will fix this, but these are just my notes or key takeaways from the chapter. And if you keep scrolling through, again, I take them to chapter 8, which again, different link, takes them to a different chapter that they need to read. Next page, again, a lecture. Yes, I had to build the slides here, but I did that. I recorded it once and I can use it over and over again. Again, notes. Again, it's a PDF. I need to convert it to a page. I promise I will. And then you'll see here, so we talk about organizational structure and we talk about human resources, and then I have the students, throughout the course of this semester for this class, I have them listen to a podcast series that's called Land of the Giants. This particular season by Vox Media focuses on the Netflix effect. I believe it's a 7 or 8 podcast series where they go through a very detailed professional academic look at how Netflix disrupted multiple industries, starting first with Blockbuster and home video, and then second with Hollywood creating their own original content for streaming. So this material, similar to my Pathway 1, the other video I recorded, this audio file was downloaded from the podcast site, which they're happy to give you, and then it was uploaded into 3C Media, so custom closed captions were added. Students can click on play and listen, or they can read along. And then, as you'll see here, I have them do a discussion on making connections between the learning materials, the chapters and the concepts, and the podcast episode. And then I have them, maybe I do a quiz, depending on the length of the class. I either have them do a quiz each week or I do multiple exams, and then they do an assignment. This is setting up a LinkedIn profile, and I give just a quick video on this. So that is an example of how I take a free textbook from a source like OpenStax and I replace an old paid textbook. So now it's no longer, students don't have to pay for my Intro to Business textbook, which was a big, thick, expensive thing. And now they just get this free digital online textbook. And I supplemented, yes, I had to do some work. I had to write some of my own quiz questions. I had to create some of my slides, yes, but I did not have to create the original content. And so from that standpoint, it's just a little bit easier than Pathway 1. Now, a bridge in between the two, this is also still Pathway 2, but it's a bit more work, but I found this to be a little bit more exciting and engaging from my standpoint as I'm building this class. This is my Business V50 class. This is Public Relations. I ditched the old paid textbook, but I couldn't find, like on OpenStax, there wasn't a Public Relations textbook that I could simply just link to. So what did I do? I worked with the folks in the library to supplement this with the variety of content, OER, open educational resources content that was already available. It was a little bit harder because I was no longer just taking, replacing one textbook with a new one. I had to go find the different lessons, the different articles, the different chapters in various textbooks and replace them. So it did take a little bit more work, but I also got to hand pick and customize what the students were learning. So here would be an example of one of the things that we did. Week 1, learning materials, overview of public relations. If you click here, I believe we found this on Films on Demand. You would be able to tell as you're watching through here, I believe this is like an 80s or maybe an early 1990s video. You can tell by the shape of the video, and you can tell by all of the shoulder pads that the men are wearing on their suits. So it's a little bit dated, but if you're talking about an overview of public relations, it doesn't really matter. We're setting the stage for what public relations has been as an industry for the last, I don't know, 70, 80 years. So here's a little bit of text. This is a Films on Demand film, which the folks in the library, thank you, Linda, helped me to source, and then I added it here. In the next couple of slides, I have links to professional articles on professional resources like Forbes. Hopefully you all know Forbes, even if you're not in the business industry. And then there's a variety of other articles that they will read externally. And then I believe we top this off probably with a discussion where we're talking about the difference between public relations and advertising and so on and so on. So that is an example of using something like Films on Demand. Now, another thing that we did too is we found a lot of OER chapters from various textbooks that we could build in, and I want to share with you one of these that I'm a little bit excited about because it was a fun lesson and it continues to be a fun lesson. This one I taught last semester and hasn't yet started yet this semester. This is on public relations writing. You can see here in the week 4 learning materials that I have a lot, 4.1, 4.2, and so on and so on. But as we click into these, you'll see that these are nice and chunked. So these aren't really long pages. They are chunked up into different sections. So this is the role of writing in PR. This is all academic in nature. And look, I have the attributions right here. And yes, are you scared of attributions? Yes, I was. I still am scared of attributions, but that's why the library folks and your Zentors are here to help you so that you don't have to freak out about this stuff. You just ask for help. So this is 4.1. That would be one part of one chapter of one textbook that I used. 4.2 is news writing versus public relations writing. Again, just a couple paragraphs. Here's the attribution from where we sourced the information from. 4.3, the press release. Yes, this is a big one when it comes to public relations. 4.4, writing the press release. Again, I have text here. I have multimedia content. Here is a video from the Ohio State University and the attributions down here. Inverted pyramid style. I've got an infographic that tells students what it is, in addition to text that they can read. These link out to other various articles, more attribution, and so on and so on. So as you can see here, in this class, I have a variety, but it was a little bit harder because I wasn't just replacing one textbook with another and then supplementing different lectures and writing quiz questions. I had to do extra work and source different content from different places, from different open educational resources, combination. Look, we're looking for multimedia. We're looking for text chapters. We're looking for video. We're looking for audio. We're looking for graphics. We're looking for animation, and so on and so on. And this class goes over really well. Students love this class. And once again, different than Pathway 1, where I get to put my face all over the course. This one has a little bit less of me, but it also has a lot of me in it, in the sense that I did the research with the folks in the library. Again, thank you, Linda, to build out resources that replaced lessons in a current, modern, academic fashion. And so once again, I'm real big on real world learning materials. And so after the students, for example, read all about PR writing, all of these, their assignment for the week is to write a press release. And so we are doing real, actual, practical things. I'm having the students read articles, textbook chapters, watch academic videos, and then the way they practice those is through real world examples. Of course, we have quizzes. Of course, we have discussions and all those things. But the assignments that I'm grading for these students usually are centered around a real world situation. Another great one that the students love is crisis management. I'm going to show you another fun video that's a little bit dated right here. And again, you can tell from the shoulder pads and the clothes and so on. But for this class, again, students love this lesson on crisis management. I actually have them do a crisis managed strategy and then record a video of themselves as the CEO of a big Fortune 500 business that's recently had a crisis, and they're essentially addressing their publics or the media and making an apology and taking accountability and telling them how they're going to correct and so on, basics for crisis management. So these are a couple of ways, a couple of different options for Pathway 2. For ZEN, which is OER, or Open Educational Resources. Again, you're not in this alone. We are here to help you. You've got ZENTors in place. You have the library. You have the amazing folks on campus that are willing to help. So please, I hope you join us in this journey. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me offline. I'll be happy to discuss, and I'll see you all again, maybe with another video. We'll see.